that implies that the Cybercab, which is a dedicated, two-seater, dedicated robotaxi. It's a little confusing with the terms robotaxi and Cybercab. Sorry about the confusion, but and in fact, in some states, we're not allowed to use the word cab or taxi, so it's going to get even more strange. It's going to be like cyber vehicle or something, cyber car. But the Cybercab, which is a specific vehicle model that we're making, does not have a steering wheel or pedals. So this is clearly, there's no, there's no fallback mechanism here. It's like this car either drives itself or it does not drive. And we expect to start production in April. As always, it's an S curve. The production rate is an S curve, so it flows over very slowly and then grows exponentially. Then you hit the linear, and then ultimately, it asymptotes at more
safety and is it the safety and performance of the most recent models, or is it people to monitor the robotaxis in car or remotely, or is there some other blocker? I don't know, Ashok, if you want to kick off on this one.
Yeah, we have scaled the robotaxi service that's available to customers over the last year in order to just learn the scaling problems without having to wait for unsupervised. Basically, two goals. One is learn as much as possible from the fleet with the safety monitors, and secondly, be laser focused with the engineering team to solve the unsupervised FSD problem. I think we did both. By the end of last year, we had a long tail of issues that we were able to churn through, and then in the last couple of weeks, we had started our unsupervised robotaxi service to public customers in Austin. I think some customers took right last week, and also service continues today.
And to significantly increase output from our factories. So we don't have any layoff plans. We expect to actually increase that count.
Great. The next question, similar to the other autonomy questions, but slightly different. When is FSD going to be 100%?
Well, it is 100% unsupervised, and FSD is 100% unsupervised. I mean, we obviously have cars operating with no one in them and no safety monitor and no follow car or anything like that in Austin right now. For customers, we're being just very cautious with the rollout. I mean, with each successive version, as we prove it out, and we make sure that there are no sort of unique issues in particular cities, because sometimes you get some very difficult intersection, and it'll be an intersection where a lot of humans have accidents. By the way, there's some pretty nutty intersections where there a lot of humans make mistakes and have accidents in various cities. So we want to make sure that FSD can handle those unusual intersections. Like if you take LA, for example, where Wilshire and Santa Monica combine is there's about 20 traffic lights, and people are constantly having accidents there. So you want to make sure that FSD can handle unique things in a particular city. And then we're also just being paranoid about safety. But with each successful release of FSD, we will reduce the amount of driver monitoring that's needed proportionate to the safety of the FSD build.
Great. As it relates to RoboTaxi, what has surprised you about the rollout so far? We've talked about what's constrained.
I wouldn't say there's anything that really surprised us because we had a large fleet, we had all the metrics, so there was not sort of a surprise. It was just continued work to grind down on the long tail issues, and that's what enabled us to launch the unsupervised service in Austin.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of robotaxi vehicles carrying paid customers, I think we're well over 500 at this point between the Bay Area and Austin.
We're varying amounts of vehicles depending on the load, but yeah, you can have more vehicles during peak times and then fewer vehicles in the off hours.
Yeah. this will probably double every month type of thing. It's on an exponential curve.
Musk.
I mean, one other thing people forget that, we've been deliberate on all this in the sense that we have the supporting infrastructure
The
already
CFO.
in place, whether it's service centers, charging. Yes, we'll have to augment as the fleet grows, depending upon the density of where the demand is and whatnot. But it's not something like we just stumbled upon it and we're starting to. We've been at it for years. Yes, not every city is designed the same way. Same thing, our infrastructure is also not the same in every city, but you have to give us credit that it's been a journey. And like Lars said, if there's
the next question is about chase cars, which we already covered. So moving on to the last question. Elon, you've been spending significant personal time on Tesla's chip design. What was the forcing function behind this increased involvement? And do you think external chip sales will represent a significant portion of Tesla's valuation by the end of the decade?
Well, I mean, I tend to spend time on whatever the most critical issue is for the company, and completing the AI5 chip design and having it be a great chip is arguably the number one most critical thing to get done, which is why I'm spending more time on that than hardly anything else at Tesla. Spend pretty much every Saturday on this, and a chunk of every Tuesday. So it's like if I'm spending my Saturdays on something, it's going to be something pretty important. I do think AI5 will be
Elon Musk
very good chip.
AI chip.
And I feel quite confident about the design at this point. And then AI6, which will follow that, it'll be aspirationally would follow that in under a year, will be yet another big leap beyond AI5. So I feel pretty good about our chip strategy right now. But in terms of selling it outside of Tesla, we first need to make sure we have enough chips for all of our vehicle production and all of our Optimus production, and then we will actually use the AI5 chips in our data centers. We already use the AI4 chips in our data centers, so when we do training, it's a combination of the AI4 chips and NVIDIA hardware, primarily, that we do training with. So, but to say by the end of the decade, I mean, it's like things are changing so fast that it's hard to imagine like what happens at the end of the decade. I mean, we might. I mean, when I look ahead and say what's the limiting factor for Tesla growth,
Elon Musk.
say 3 or 4 years out, I think it actually is chip production. Is there enough AI logic and enough memory, enough RAM for our volume? And right now, I see that as being the thing that probably limits our growth in 3 or 4 years, which would imply that we're not selling chips outside of Tesla if we need them. In fact, I think, and this is sort of a controversial thing, but I think Tesla needs to build a terafab. I mentioned this at the shareholder meeting, but even when we look at the output of the best case output of all of our key suppliers, and I'd say even beyond suppliers, they're like strategic partners, like Samsung, TSMC, and Micron. And we say, like, what's the most you could possibly make? Then it's not enough. So I think in order to remove the constraint, the probable constraint in 3 or 4 years, we're going to have to build a Tesla terafab, a very big fab that includes logic, memory, and packaging domestically. and that's actually also going to be very important to ensure that we are protected against any geopolitical risks. I think people may be underweighting some of the geopolitical risks that are going to be a major factor in a few years. So now, a lot of people are like, will say like, that's crazy. Fabs are really hard. I'm like, yes, I know fabs are really hard. I don't think they're easy. But we do a lot of hard things. We didn't used to have car factories. We didn't used to have